Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here we are, Davis, California. My nightly walk. I'm gonna take you guys on the trail I've been going on. It's about a 3.5 mile course. I'm a little early today, but it's cool because the weather looks pretty bad. So, but here's the park, huge soccer park, and there's the mountains and the sun going down, some fields. Not the best for my allergies, but gotta get this steps in, man. The August 14th show's coming up quick, and I just hung out with Titus yesterday, and the kid's in fucking great shape, so I gotta get moving. All right, I'll talk to you in a bit. Oh shit, my hand was there. Sorry about that. Okay, here we are, Wild Horse Agricultural Buffer behind the golf course, and then there's a racetrack over there out here in Davis, California. Nice area. Usually a lot of people on this trail, but I'm sure I'll walk into some as we go. We're about a half a mile, a little more in. Let me see my gimmick here. Yeah, well, there it is. So yeah, almost half a mile in. Got a ways to go. So I'll hit you guys back up in a bit. I hear some people coming. Later. Alright, so mile and a half down. A little slower than I want it to be. A lot of people out here, so I wasn't really videotaping much, but let me show you some of these homes out here. Here's the golf course again. Here's some of the houses out here. So damn nice. I don't want to be too much in people's privacy, but really nice area. We'll go through some more houses right now, but there's some people coming, so I'm gonna get off the phone. Alright, coming through, I don't know what the name of the street is, but this is one of my favorite houses right here. Motivation. Do something with my life. Really, really just nice houses out here. Nice quiet area. Beautiful homes. It's the kind of place I really wish I had done things differently in my life. And I was able to afford stuff like this, but you know, what are you gonna do? I got 3 great kids and some good friends, man, so but it would be nice to have some $1 million too, you know, but what you gonna do? I got a $100,000 education I'm not using, so it's a PSA for you don't need college. It's the way, figured it out, it's the way they keep America in debt. Student loans. There's another one. And then there's this, it's like I'm colorblind, so I think it's like a lavender or something though. But other than that color, it's a nice house. So, all right, I'm gonna get on this walk here. Hey, what's going up, everyone? I ended up walking farther than I thought, a little over 4 miles. I just was going out there, got in the zone, and was moving slow, but I was going. And went to my car for a little bit, sat down before work started, and got out, and freaking my feet were killing me, and just didn't feel well. So I came to work, hopped in the shower, got cleaned up, and do a video. Anyways, while I was out on my walk, I got a text from Titus telling me that one of my I don't want to say my favorite wrestler, but a wrestler I really enjoy his work, Super Porky, passed away. For those of you who don't know Super Porky, man, do yourself a favor. The dude's hilarious. I love his entrance. His ring music kills me. He's a funny dude. He's just a really funny guy. And of course, he's a good wrestler, but he's a luchador and wrestled in Japan a lot. And he's just a really entertaining guy, man. I really his entrance is one of my favorites, along with Tokyo Magnum, Guido. I like his a lot too. Yeah, there's he's just a really one of the wrestlers that I really enjoyed watching, and every time he'd come out, I pop for it. And then little inside joke, Flacco, every time I'll have him ref a match for me, and he comes out to that fucking song. It just kills me when he does it. But so yeah, it's kind of a sad day, but you know, could be remembered well for those who remember him, and for those who don't, you do yourself a favor and just watch him. And he's highly entertaining. Another question came to my DMs, sliding in my DMs, was asking me. A lot of people are using the term pro wrestler, and I see it a lot. Guys saying it, or one of the things, like, I've always tell my students, if you introduce yourself as a pro wrestler, chances are two things: you're really not. Two, the person could give a shit less because they don't watch wrestling anyways. If you're going to consider yourself a pro, a couple of things you need to understand. Being a pro is being professional, and that's in and out of wrestling. And it means you're making money, not just doing a weekend getaway and you make $25, $30. And kind of a guideline I have is, if you wrestle a show and you only make enough to cover gas and food, you're a hobbyist, and you perform on wrestling shows. You really can't say you're a pro wrestler. I know a lot of people like to say this. Well, I'm struggling, and I don't have a job. I just wrestle, and they equate themselves having to stay the night in their car to like Stone Cold and those guys when they were younger and first started in the business. The main difference I can tell you is that when those guys were doing it, it's because they were traveling on the road. So they were living in their car because they had nowhere else to stay till they went to a territory, and then they'd work the territory. And even back then, when they went, they'd make a good amount of money. So that's what living in their car was for them. Once they got in a territory, they made some decent money, and they were able to pay some bills and do things. But now, if you're going to say you're a pro wrestler and you wrestle in the same building every weekend or every other weekend or once a month, and that's as far as you go, or maybe you have the same little 4 or 5 shows that you do every month, and you want to say you're on the road because you got to travel 2 towns away, that's not what wrestling's about. The way it was back in the day, on all the documentaries you watch and the books you read or the stories you hear, it's a different era of wrestling. Generally, most guys, when you start out, you're not living on the road and traveling and trying to get booked on shows. You may be gone for a weekend, but that's not what you're doing during the week. There are some guys who make a living flying around just wrestling, but those guys are few and far between on the indie level anyways. So don't use the term that when you introduce yourself to people as you're a pro wrestler, because you're really not. It's you wrestle shows, and if you're a professional wrestler, you're proud of it, and you love the business, but at some point that's something that's earned. Calling yourself a pro, and the way you handle yourself is what dictates you're a professional or not, and then the money you make, of course. So I see that a lot of our guys introduce themselves as, I'm a pro wrestler. Dude, you work 2 shows a month, bro. You're not a pro wrestler. You wrestle on shows. That's about it. It's a big difference. And I hate to be that asshole, because right now it's a hobby for me. I love pro wrestling, but it's just a hobby. I don't make a living doing it. I have a shoot job. I have 2 shoot jobs. And that's how I make my money and my living to support me and my kids. And well, now 2 of them are older, but so when you're a pro and you have a family, you always got to put your family first. That's what I've always done, and it costs you sometimes. And sometimes the rewards are better. So what I always tell people is that you can't tell people you're a pro wrestler and then you only wrestle 1 show a weekend or 2 shows a month. Pro wrestlers travel, and I was doing shows when I was on Uncut during the week. We were doing shows in the small towns, Milwaukee, Chehalis, the Dalles, and Oceanside, and all those places during the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, drawing 600-700 people. I was making a living doing it for a short time, but I've made a lot of money training people and running my companies. For a while at SPW, I was making some decent money, but so just don't be so quick to throw that term around until somebody tells you deserve it, because you just make yourself look stupid. And if that's your pickup line for females, I just feel sorry for you. I know people like to tell you that, but some people may be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," and mark out or whatever, but really they're laughing at you, because they always ask you, "Oh, so you in the WWE?" When you say no, the only other thing they know if they're not a wrestling fan is backyard wrestling, and that's what they equate you to. And it sucks to say that, but that's what they do. If you're not on the big time, if you're not on TV, they could give a shit less, So, when you're using that as a pickup line, man, come on, bro. It's just, so I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but, just stop using the term so loosely because you embarrass a lot of people who are making a living doing it. Like I said, I don't use the term. I say I wrestle, and I do shows and on the weekends, and or I say I'm in the wrestling business because I have a school again and stuff like that. But it's just I just see a lot of new guys who haven't done shit yet using the term, and it's just wrong. You're the why wrestling has a bad outlook. And if you're doing shows where there's a bunch of pieces of shit on there who just do things that are really fucking disgusting, you might as well just just fucking quit the business because you're basically saying it's okay. If there's somebody doing things that I deem are not appropriate, I don't work there anymore. If they work for me, I get rid of them. Simple as that. So just when you call yourself a pro, make sure you're a pro, and you do shit betterment for the betterment of the business, not just for yourself. And there's always younger kids coming up that need help, and if you're not at liberty to help them, that's why the business dies, and then we can't guide them. Vets, we have to guide the young kids, and help them get bookings, help them teach them the right way to work, and be in the locker room. So, anyways, there's so much more I want to say, but I don't want to open up a can of worms. But yeah, so the term, just like I said, make sure you deserve to be called that before you start naming yourself that. It's the thing I say, like when people say, "How do you know when you're a vet?" You just know, And I come from a position of where people always call me a legend and stuff like that, and I appreciate it immensely that people put me in that respect. But for me, there's just so many other guys in the area locally anyways. On the big stage, I'm nobody, but locally I've done some things. But I don't put myself on the level of the guys like Mike Modest and Bison Smith and Woody Farmer, and just there's a list of guys who've been here way before me and done it way better than me. But I do appreciate when people call me that, so but it's just the term. So, but you don't never deem yourself that way. Somebody will tell you when you're that, so anyways, man, I'm gonna stop ranting on here. Please like, subscribe, click the bell icon. I'm dead ass tired. That's probably why this thing seems a little slow. Yeah, I'm had a long freaking day, and I'm tired and I need to go to bed. So anyways, I'll talk to you later.